I just want to let you know that everything I said might be wrong. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing great. In this video I'm going to talk about why you should not ever listen to me and what I say about spiritual stuff, and why everything I said or will say on this channel might actually be wrong. When you start to look around on YouTube and see spiritual things going on, you hear a lot of advice, all right? You hear a lot of how-tos, you hear a lot of you see a lot of step-by-step tutorials and things about pendulums, about cleansings, about tarot cards, about everything. And even if you just look at about philosophy, you see lots and lots of advice and universal wisdom. I just want to take the time because I want to move into a direction where I do give this kind of advice, and I already have on this channel, and I want to expand on this and tell you all about what I think and what my experiences are. I just want to let you know that everything I said might be wrong, okay? And that comes just from the simple fact that everything, when you're dealing with spirituality, all of this is like massively subjective, all right? So even if there is a guru, I mean, I'm always very skeptic about gurus, right? Because they promise you things that, I mean, like enlightenment, like this pure being full of wisdom, full of light, full of love and energy and unconditional love and energy, and then preaching these things and leading you on to a journey or path, oftentimes involving huge sums of money to pursue their path, their journey, and their teachings, and become their disciples, so to speak. And I don't want to be a guru, right? I don't want to be your guru. I don't want to be anybody's guru, okay? Because if I were a guru, I would say this is the way to do it, which is my way to do it, which is even I'm figuring these things out as everyone is, and everyone says something differently, and something like I know everything and I have figured this stuff out. They're probably not really saying the truth, because this is ever changing, like always. Spiritual things and things of the mind and heart and of the universe and involving energy, this is always change. You can look into any oracle, any culture, any ancient wisdom, and you always see change as a driving factor of all of these. It's a cycle of life. It's a circle of life. It's the wheel of fortune. It's not standing still, not static. And of course there are underlying principles, but still you can apply them so subjectively, and however you feel and fit and see fit your life. Maybe you've heard the saying that 90% of everything is crap, and I have to agree. Even probably especially in the esoteric and metaphysical world, most of the things you hear are not researched. There is no real experience in it. People just preach things, and they probably try to get as tons of money out of you, right? As much as they can, just to use this belief system that that you have, like esoteric. And it doesn't have to be like that, right? This is on 90% of everything is crap, probably even more. But this is so subjective because we create our reality every time, and based on our unconscious filters, the way we view life is inherently flawed, or at least influenced by our memories, emotions, feelings, and basic understandings about the world that we believe are true. I've talked about it in another video that is kind of very, very difficult to actually make a very accurate assumption about the truth about the world around you, because it's so difficult because we are trapped inside this body and up here. Because this is so subjective, do not, here's some kind of advice, take it or take not kind of paradoxical, I think. to make this kind of video and say, do not listen to me, and then I talk to you. But do not listen to these people who give you ultimate truths. Not even me. Like, please do not listen to me. Feel free to discuss these things, to go into the comment section, to question my ideas, and to be skeptical, and always ask, like, is this for me, right? Is this how I feel? Oftentimes people say, I don't know how I feel, right? They don't really, they say, well, maybe I don't have any experience in what energy is, right? How should I get my way? I only have these resources, and this guru who says it's like so. Why you should not listen? And I just feel the urge just to look at a rune. All right. So sometimes I look at runes on my necklace, and the rune that came up is Tyr, and the Tyr stands for justice. This rune stands for justice, stands for the warrior, and yeah, I think this ties in beautifully. Try to find something that makes justice to what you need, right? If there's a concept that resonates with you and your perception and your experience of life, feel free to adapt it. Right? Test it, try it out, and do not take it as something that's absolute, right? Something that's unchangeable, undoubtable. Take it always with a bit of salt, right? Yeah, so this is like the basic thing I want to get across. However, now we know, like, how do we distinguish between the things that we should take and which not, based on what we know. And it is about perspective, right? It's always about this certain perspective that we have in life. So, for example, I want to find out how to read an object that belongs to someone, right? Using psychometry. Like, how do I do this? I go onto the internet and I find many people teaching you this kind of thing, and maybe makes sense to you, but and you try to use it. And by the way, feel free to let me know if you want to see a video on how to do psychometry. I might do this, okay? And you see all these different steps and how-tos and tutorials, and you kind of bombarded with people saying different things, being like contradicting things often. And then there are people who say they are the experts and they say this is how it's done. I do not doubt that maybe these people do have some maybe high-level expertise in this field, right? Like there are many experts out there who are willing to teach, but they do not have your perspective, right? So be aware of your perspective, be aware of what you want from reading this object, right? If you're not a psychic, if you do not want to make a psychic reading an object for someone, right? Some of these techniques are not like in this line of thought, right? They have been designed intentionally and word out to read as a psychic, to read for clients, to read for other people, talk about the present, the past, and the future, the questions, and get vibes from this object. But this is not practical to you if you're not a fortune teller and you're not at a carnival in a little tent, which is sadly the picture and the image of that many people have about fortune tellers and psychics. That couldn't be further from the truth. There is no real value for you, right? So we all have our perspective. Be brave, and I encourage you to look and search for your perspective of what's practical for you, what you can believe in. There are many people who are like, say that if you're psychic, you have to believe in Christian ideas or other religions or Buddhism. I don't think that's so, right? There are many people out there who do not have any kind of fixed religion, like me too. Like I focus on energies and stuff, and the esoteric way to think about the world and to view it. But I do not have a set religion, which is a topic for another time. But there is no need for a certain religion, and if there are certain religious symbols in a ritual or in a practice of of esoteric techniques, that might not be the best thing for you, because you cannot really, there is not the right intention in there. For example, if you do tarot cards and you lay a Celtic cross, right, with your cards, that might not be effective for you, because you might not really put the same intention and energy into the symbol of a cross, right? Of course it's Celtic, but still, also if you look at angels or something, if this idea of an angel is not really in your mind and doesn't really fit the way you view the world, that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. This is your free will. We all have free will, and this is your right to believe whatever you want. Whatever you want, no matter what people tell you, no matter how people say this is absolute, this is an angel, right? And you have to believe it in order to work it. If you don't believe in angels, right, you may not be able to do this kind of ritual. You may not be able to find your guardian angel, right? There is no need for you to find your guardian angel, because you do not believe in angels. You might call it something else. You might call it part of like the cosmic forces. You might call it a part of your unconscious mind. If you look into archetypes of Carl Jung or something, from psychology, right, which is another totally accepted model. And if that's if that's more acceptable for you and your version of the truth, and we all have versions of the truth, then take this, right? Use it like this. Have your own perspective and search for people who have that same perspective, okay? So, if you want to have help and get a little bit, have a quicker and more effective way maybe to get to know these things, feel free to contact me about your psychic, spiritual, intuitive development, right? I work always with the perspective of someone else. I work with other people, right? I'm not here to preach at you, to say this is the only way you can do this. I work with your perspective. I work with this perspective in your head, in your heart, in your mind, and your soul, right? The things that feel right to you. So do not listen to me, but if you want to have like a subjective view and you want help with that, to maybe get a bit shorter and to have a broader view of all the things that are available to us as people who dive deep into these spiritual things, and you want just a bit of guidance, or to be a bit more effective in finding out all of these possibilities, that you do not have to use angels, that you do not have to use religious symbolism, that you do not have to speak Hebrew in order to make a certain invocation effective, right? Then feel free to contact me for a private, personal Skype session to develop your insights, your intuitive abilities, and your psychic abilities from your personal perspective, totally individualistic. And I really take the time to look at what you think, feel, and believe, and to use these in order to help you get the things that you want and really need in life. If you're not a psychic, you do not need things that psychics do. You can, but why, right? You have to adapt it to your own reality, okay? The first session, like 30 minutes, is free of charge, so you can get to know how I work. If you want to have a reading and have me take your perspective in order to look into your past, present, or future and answer some of your really personal questions using runes and using your unconscious potentials that are already there, feel free to contact me as well for a reading. And yeah, I hope you take this really in and look at the world a bit differently, and especially at the psychic world and the metaphysical world, and at me, right? Giving you advice that you maybe should not take. Yeah, have an open mind, but not too open-minded. Be skeptical and be aware of your own perspective. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.